Imagine a city like no other, one that cuts through the desert like a razor-sharp line, stretching as far as the eye can see. No cars, no pollution, just pure futuristic living. This is the line, Saudi Arabia's $500 billion gamble to build the most advanced city on the planet. A single city, 170 kilometers long and 200 meters wide, with vertical neighborhoods stacked to the sky. A city so futuristic it almost sounds like a sci-fi movie. The world watched in awe when Saudi Arabia unveiled this dream project in 2021. The line was meant to redefine urban living, showcasing how humans could live in harmony with nature, tech, and each other. But as the dust begins to settle, cracks in this ambitious vision are beginning to show. Why is the line, this revolutionary idea of tomorrow, facing such overwhelming challenges today? In today's video, we're diving deep into why Saudi Arabia's Line City, once hailed as the future of urban living, may be falling apart, and what it means for the future of mega projects worldwide. To understand why the line is facing these hurdles, we need to go back to its origin. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 plan, led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, was born out of a single, ambitious idea: to transform the kingdom's economy and reputation. As a country reliant on oil, Saudi Arabia needed to find a new path forward, and Crown Prince Mohammed saw NEOM as the answer. NEOM wasn't just another city, it was a vision for the future, a high-tech utopia spanning across Saudi Arabia's northwestern desert. And at the heart of NEOM's vision was the line. The line was marketed as a sustainable city where people could live, work, and play without ever needing a car or having to endure the chaos of traditional city traffic. And here's what set it apart. It wasn't a sprawling city like New York or Los Angeles. Instead, it was a narrow 200-meter-wide strip designed to run on 100% renewable energy, with AI managing everything from transportation to waste. On paper, it was a modern marvel, a city that not only looked beautiful, but also solved some of humanity's biggest challenges. But as you can imagine, building a 170-kilometer-long city with vertical neighborhoods in the middle of a scorching desert is anything but simple. And soon, this futuristic dream started to clash with reality. One of the first challenges the line faced was right under its feet: the desert itself. Extreme heat, sandstorms, limited water sources, these conditions were more than just inconvenient, they were inhospitable. Think about this. The average summer temperature in this region can reach up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Now imagine trying to build a city with hundreds of thousands of workers in that kind of heat. Add to that the regular sandstorms that can blanket construction sites in layers of sand and grit, and you start to see why this location is far from ideal for a project of this scale. To overcome these conditions, Saudi Arabia planned to construct advanced air conditioning systems and dust control technologies to protect the city's inhabitants. But here's the catch. All of this requires massive amounts of energy and water. So the question is, how do you power an air-conditioned city in a desert without burning through resources? The line was supposed to run on renewable energy, but generating that much power in a desert is incredibly difficult. This isn't a new problem. Countries around the world have struggled with similar issues. And Saudi Arabia's attempt to overcome nature itself could turn into a costly and unsustainable effort. The line was more than just a city. It was a tech paradise, where artificial intelligence would operate almost everything. In theory, AI would monitor traffic, operate public transit, manage waste, and even personalize the living experience for each resident. But here's the thing. Turning this vision into reality isn't as easy as flipping a switch. The technology for fully autonomous cities is still in its infancy. While cities like San Francisco and Tokyo have experimented with smart infrastructure, they're a far cry from the level of automation that Saudi Arabia envisioned for the line. Building an entire city to function on autonomous systems requires unprecedented levels of tech integration and support. Plus, imagine what happens if this technology fails. What if the autonomous transport breaks down? What if the AI systems aren't secure? In a city designed to rely on technology for everything, a system-wide glitch or a cyber attack could paralyze daily life. And remember, the line is situated in a remote desert, far from major urban hubs. If there's a breakdown, getting tech support or maintenance isn't as easy as calling for help in a traditional city. Then there's the question of cost. Building the line wasn't just a bold idea, it was an incredibly expensive one. This project alone is expected to cost around $500 billion, a massive financial commitment even for a country as wealthy as Saudi Arabia. And here's the irony. While the line was designed to showcase a post-oil future, it's actually oil money that's funding it. But the oil market is unpredictable. Prices go up, they go down, and as the world moves towards renewable energy, demand for oil is expected to decline. So what happens if Saudi Arabia's oil revenues can't sustain such a massive investment? Historically, even wealthy nations have struggled to support mega projects when funding dries up. The US experienced this with projects like Boston's Big Dig, which ran wildly over budget and took years longer than expected. And yet, the line is on an even larger scale. Many experts are asking the same question. Can Saudi Arabia sustain this spending, especially if oil revenues fall? Will the line become an unfinished monument to ambition? A futuristic concept left half-built in the desert? But there's an even more fundamental issue. People. The line wasn't built on empty land. It sits in an area where native communities have lived for generations. To make way for the line, reports surfaced of forced evictions, sparking international backlash over human rights violations. This is a sensitive subject, especially in the US, where people value personal freedoms, land rights, and social justice. When news emerged that native communities were being pushed out of their homes to make way for a futuristic city, many around the world began to see the line in a different light. How can a city that claims to be the future of humanity push out its own people? It's not just an ethical issue, it's a practical one too. Building a city in a place with little public support can be problematic. If residents don't want to live there, if they don't feel safe or welcome, then how sustainable can the community really be? So where does that leave us? As of now, construction continues, but reports suggest the project is already experiencing delays, growing costs, and logistical challenges. Saudi Arabia may soon have to make some tough decisions about the line's future. In fact, some officials have hinted that adjustments to the project's goals may be necessary. As visionary as the line is, reality is forcing compromises. The combination of extreme environmental conditions, technical setbacks, financial strains, and social issues is creating a perfect storm that's difficult for even the wealthiest nation to manage. The line story isn't unique. Around the world, we've seen other ambitious projects that promise to transform urban life, only to fall short. In Detroit, we saw how industries once booming could suddenly decline, leaving behind empty buildings and lost dreams. In Japan, the Shimizu megacity pyramid was envisioned as a floating city for 1 million people, but it was never built because the technology simply wasn't there. Ambition is essential to progress, but without realistic foundations, even the boldest dreams can crumble. The line serves as a reminder that no matter how futuristic an idea may be, it must be grounded in practical, sustainable planning. Otherwise, it risks becoming a modern ruin in the desert. So, is the line a glimpse into our future or a cautionary tale? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. This ambitious project has pushed the boundaries of what's possible, even if it's left us with more questions than answers. The line's success or failure could redefine the future of urban development. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Mencom for more explorations into the world's most ambitious projects and their real-world impacts.